Now I want to show you and teach you a huge secret to online course publishing that most people just don't get that are marketing online courses. They don't know this technique, and it's one that is incredibly, incredibly valuable. So for almost every major market online related to learning about anything, which are online course topics, you'll find discussion forum communities where people are interested in that topic and they're talking about it. Unless you go into a very, very obscure area, there may not be a discussion forum or community. But in most major topics, from everything, relationships, all different sports, all different hobbies, all different areas of corporate training, all different areas of skills like programming and web design and architecture software and 3D modeling and making video games, it doesn't matter what it is. All those areas you can typically find a discussion forum with people talking about that topic. Well, one of the great ways to figure out what to put in an online course and what to use as marketing is to simply find out what people are talking about in discussion forums and what their most common discussion points and questions are. It's the ultimate shortcut to making money with online courses and knowing not only what to include in courses, but how to market them. So watch this. So here's a very popular site called bodybuilding.com, all about weightlifting, getting in shape, losing weight, building muscle. And they're hugely successful. They're one of the busiest sites on the internet. We can come to their forums, which are very, very popular and have had millions and millions of posts and views. And we can come into certain sections of their forums. So we're going to go to nutrition. So let's say you're going to do an online course related to nutrition, health, and fitness. So we'll come in here and we'll look at a lot of the topics. First thing we want to do is we want to sort these topics and discussion areas by views. So we click on views. Now it's sorting from top to bottom the most viewed topics. So typically in a discussion forum you'll have what are called stickies. So you'll see these stickies. That's where they actually took threads, these discussion forum, these discussions specifically about a certain topic or question. It's a given thread. A thread is where everyone's talking about the same thing, and they'll sticky them in other words, they'll keep them at the top of a list of discussions. If you come farther down a discussion forum, you'll see all these other areas. These may be newer or older, but they're not sticky, so they won't stay at the top. They can get buried if there's just little use or little discussion at any point. But if we sort them by views, let's start at the top. 1.69 million views for post your favorite recipes here. So as you can see, the number one interest people have for this nutrition section on bodybuilding is to find other great recipes from people. They want to see what other people are sharing and posting. And this is one of the areas that's gotten the most attention. Now, you could go into that section and look at these recipes and find a gazillion ideas for what types of recipes to include in an online course about nutrition for health and fitness. But if we look down through this list, for example, we can see for anyone with a critique my diet question. People want to have their diets critiqued. So you could include that in an online course. You could have an element where you'll have an instructor critique their diet. That could be an added value to the course. But there's a huge interest and value in people in this market that are interested in this topic that want to have their diet programs or menus critiqued. So that's something you could include with an online course. 400,000 views of pre, during, and post-workout nutrition. So this is what people want to know. What do I eat before a workout? What do I eat or consume during a workout? And what do I eat directly after a workout? That's the biggest question that people have related to fitness and nutrition. So you'd have to cover those three areas in an online course. You get into other topics. Calorie allowances, discretionary calorie allowance. I don't even know what that means, but we can see here, if you hover over it, the purpose of this thread is to explain the dietary approach of discretionary calorie allowance, which is referred to, whoops, it went away there. I don't know. It's talking about some kind of science related to how much they should eat and when or whatever, I guess. I don't even know what it means, but if you were looking into that, you'd figure out what it meant. Anyways, the next one down, video recipes. That's very popular. Here's an interview with somebody about, I guess it looks like paleo stuff, or eating different things for weight lossing from a certain expert. Calculating your calories and macros, how to do it. This is, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates, and how to calculate your calories. Right then, you'd have to have that in an online course about fitness nutrition. It's necessary. So many people care about it. It's getting a lot of views. We come down even more. People want to know about making their own protein bars. They want to know their own recipes for making protein bars. You'd have to include that in your course. So if you included 10 different recipes for making your own protein bars, that's a home run selling point for an online course. Here's one about eating disorders. You may or may not want to include that in your course, but it's certainly a huge topic of interest. Just simple things, people talking about calories in a whole chicken, homemade weight gainer shake recipes, something else you may want to add. But if you start looking through here, intermittent fasting, you may want to have a section on intermittent fasting, analysis of energy drinks, discussion of protein stored as fat, what the sodium intake should be or not be, the concept of carb backloading, a beginner's handbook to muscle mass, talking about bulking up. You'd want to cover that if it was about mass building. Is hummus good for cutting weight? But anyways, you can come in here and you can come into any discussion forum and sort by views and find out what the most important things are to any market. And you can structure your online course around including those most important things. As I'm about to cover in the next lesson about the critical elements for any curriculum you build for an online course, you're going to want to cover at least and identify the 10 most common questions or areas in a subject matter. So you'd want to find out the 10 most common. Now, they're not always the 10 most viewed, but you can find some common things where it's very similar, the similar types of questions. So in just a few minutes, you could figure out, browsing this one, for example, about nutrition, what are the 10 most common things, right? I would say pre, during, and post-workout nutrition are 3 of them. I've already covered that just by looking at this. We could talk about, recipes are obviously one of those big areas. Calculating calories and macros would be another. Maybe intermittent fasting, because it's such a popular subject matter. More things on bulking up, diets for bulking up. But you could just easily look at the things getting the most attention in anything and know what the 10 critical elements are for any market. For example, you could go to a knitting discussion forum, sort by views, all-time views, and you'd easily know what people are most interested. Well, if you find out what people are most interested in, you have what to include in a course, the things they're most interested in learning. And again, all these discussion forums are text, just people writing about stuff or giving their advice about stuff. So if you can include those things in videos where an instructor is teaching about those things, it would make for a fantastic online course for absolutely any type of subject matter. If you go to an online discussion forum, let's say about Flash programming or iOS programming for making iPhone apps, you sort by the most popular views and it would say, how do I do this or how do I do that? You would know what to include in video lessons to make a great course on how to learn iOS or how to learn how to do Flash programming or whatever the subject matter is. Discussion forums are your gold mine for any online course market. I cannot stress that enough. And oh, by the way, you can find great instructors, talent to create products and content for you if you peruse discussion forums. However, don't ever post a message that you're looking to hire someone on a discussion forum. I've kind of briefly mentioned it before because you'll get a lot of critique and haters, but you could certainly find one of these experts that has a lot of posts, that has a lot of people following and saying positive things about things they post. You can join the forum, send them a private message, and ask them, hey, you're so talented about this stuff. I have a publishing company. We're trying to create a nutrition course on weightlifting or whatever else. I wonder if you'd be interested in making some money from your great knowledge. We're looking to hire an expert. to create a couple of hours of videos talking about nutrition, maybe going over a few recipes and helping people from A to Z on how to build muscle or do things optimally with nutrition. Would you be interested in, making some extra money? Most people say, I'd love to, because what you'll find is in most of these areas, these people don't do this for a living. They're not making any money from it. They're just passionate about it. This is their hobby. This is what they enjoy when they get home from work. They get on the forum. They talk about what their passion is. So many of these people that are experts at it would love to make some extra money, a few $1,000s or a few $100s or whatever, for creating content related to that market or doing a joint venture deal or anything else. So I can't stress enough that discussion forums are a goldmine, not only for building out your curriculum, but for finding the touch points in the market to find out what people want to know more about and what they're willing to buy, as well as finding great talent or content marketing contributors as you build out the business for any subject matter for any online course.